Hello students, today I will teach you third chapter of science and the name of the chapter is classification of materials. But before that we will discuss here what is classification. Grouping similar things together is called classification. Means when we have grouped similar things together, that is called classification. Like utensils in the kitchen, beds are always kept in the bedrooms, arrangement of books in a library, and many more examples we can have. So these things are possible because of the classification, because these grouping, we have grouped here similar things at one place. Utensils in the kitchen, arrangement of books in a library. This is all called classification. Now what is the importance of classification? Why there is a need to classify materials? Classification is necessary in order to have a systematic knowledge of things. Means when we classify the materials, we can have the systematic knowledge of those things. Second, it will have a general idea about all the members of a group. Means classification provides a general idea about all the members of a group. If you have categorized the members in a particular group, so by the means of this classification, you can have the general idea about all the members of a group. Third point is that classification enables us to know how the members of a group are different from those of the other groups. Suppose you have made two groups. So how the members of one group are different from other, you can simply know with the help of this classifications. So yes, these are all the benefits of classification. Now the question is arising that how we can classify materials. On what basis we can do the classification? So materials are grouped on the basis of their shapes, the materials they are made up of, and the properties like luster, hardness, softness, transparency, etc. So these materials are grouped on these bases. So here we will consider the first property, that is luster. So first of all, what is the meaning of luster? Luster means shine. So there are some materials which have shine and there are some materials which do not have shine. So on this basis also we can classify the materials. So materials which shines are called lustrous. Means the materials which have shine are called lustrous. Like you have already seen on jewelries. You can see that all of you have seen the jewelry. Jewelry are very shiny. Door handles are very shiny. Utensils have shine. So these are all called lustrous materials. So the materials have shine, but on exposure to air, such metals or such materials lose their shine or luster in the course of time. Then such metals becomes tarnished. If they lose their shine, they are said to be tarnished. So the question is arising that how the metal can regain its luster. The metal regains its luster if its surface is rubbed with cloth or sandpaper, or if it is polished. So by these ways a metal can regain its luster. So this is all about the materials which are having shine. So are called lustrous. But there are some materials, as I told you, that which do not have shine, which do not shine. Such materials are called non-lustrous. Like wood is there, plastic, coal, paper, etc. So materials which do not shine are said to be non-lustrous. So in this way also we can classify the materials. Now we have another way of classification, like smoothness and roughness. As you know that some materials are having a smooth surface. When you touch the surface of a mirror, you can see that is very smooth. But on the other hand, when you touch any brick or stone, so you can simply feel that is very rough. So on this basis also we can classify the materials. So some materials have a smooth surface, like the surface of a mirror, surface of a stainless steel tumbler. So such materials have a smooth surface, but on the other hand we have some materials which have rough surface, like stone and brick, and many more examples. So on this basis also we can classify the materials. Now another way is their hardness, softness. As you know that many materials are very hard, some are very soft. So on this basis also we can classify the materials. Hard materials. We cannot change the shape of the hard material by pressing it or cut it easily. Means it is not easy to just change the shape by pressing it or just cutting it. Such materials are called hard materials, like furniture, machine we have. But on the other hand, we have soft materials. We can easily change the shape of a soft material by pressing it or by just stretching it. Like you have cushions, you all have cushions in your home. So that is very soft, cushiony. Cotton is very soft. Clay, you all are familiar with clay. By using clay you can give the different shapes, you can make many things. So such materials are called soft. So by hardness and softness also we can classify the materials. Now another way is that transparency. What is this? Different materials behave differently when light falls on them. Means whenever light falls on them, so they behave differently. So first we will discuss transparent materials. What are transparent materials? As it is clear from the word transparent. Transparent means you can easily see from them. So what are transparent materials? Which allow most of the light falling on them to pass through. Means such materials allow almost all the light falling on them to pass through. Suppose if you're having a glass, you can simply see that light can pass through a glass, and some plastics also are available which can allow the light to pass through. So such materials are called transparent materials. Second is opaque materials. Opaque means suppose you have a torch and you switch on the torch and you place a book or a wooden block in front of that torch. So will the light pass through? No, it will not allow the light to pass through. So such materials are called opaque materials. So opaque materials do not allow light to pass through them. Example, you have wood, cardboard, books you have. Such materials which do not allow the light to pass through are called opaque. Now translucent materials. What are translucent? Which allow only some of the light falling on them to pass through. Means not all the light they pass, only some of the light. Suppose you have oiled paper. Means you have a torch, you light the torch and in front of that torch you place a oiled paper. Oiled paper, you understand now? So what will you see? You can see that only some light can pass through that paper. Why? Because that is a translucent materials. Frosted glass is also a translucent materials. So by this way also we can classify the materials. Now ductility and malleability. There are some materials which are ductile. Ductile means if it can be bent without being broken. Means it can be bent without being broken. They can be drawn into wires. So such materials are called ductile. Solid materials are called ductile. But on the other hand, we have some solid materials which are malleable. Malleable means if it can be beaten or pressed into sheets or foils. Like aluminium foils you have. So such materials are called malleable. But there are some materials which easily breaks on being bent, beaten or pressed. Means suppose you have biscuits. So just you apply a little bit of force, you can see that biscuits will break. So that biscuit is brittle. So solid material which breaks on being bent or beaten or pressed is called brittle. Now another way is also there, floating or sinking in water. As you know that some substances floats in water, some sink in water. So on this basis also we can classify them. So some substances floats in water. Example like plastic is there, wooden block is there. So these things floats in water. But there are some substances which sinks in water. Example, heavy things will definitely sink. Stone, coin. So these things will sink in water. So on this basis also we can classify. Now another way is their solubility. As you know that there are many substances which are easily dissolved in water. You are already familiar with salt and sugar. You know that salt and sugar are easily soluble. Soluble means they are easily dissolving in water. Means when you dissolve salt into water, you cannot separate the salt from that water. Similarly, when you dissolve sugar into that water properly, you cannot separate sugar from that water. So such substances are called soluble in water, means properly dissolve in water. But on the other hand, we have some substances which do not dissolve in water. Such are called insoluble in water. Like you have sand, chalk. So when you're trying to dissolve them in water, they will not be dissolved in water. So they are known as insoluble in water. So we are talking about these solid substances, but there are some liquids also which mix with water and some which do not mix with water. So what are miscible liquids? Miscible liquids are those liquids which mix with water. So we have shampoo. As you know, shampoo can easily mix with water. Glycerine is there. You cannot separate them after mixing with water. So such liquids, especially I am talking about the liquids. Liquids will placed in the category of miscible liquids. So when liquids are mixed with water properly, are called miscible liquids. And such liquids which do not mix with water are called immiscible liquids. Like you have oil, kerosene. So suppose if you pour a few drops of oil in a water, you can see that oil will float on water. It will not be dissolved or it will not be mixed with water. So that oil is a liquid, so it is known as immiscible liquids. Now we will here consider, solvent and solute. What is solvent and solute? A liquid that dissolves other substances is called solvent. Like earlier we have discussed about the salt and sugar in water. So suppose if you are mixing salt in water, so that water is a liquid. That water is dissolving salt. So that water is known as solvent. A liquid that dissolves other substances is called solvent. And the substance which is dissolving is called solute. So if we take the example of salt and water, then water will be the solvent and salt will be the solute. So as you know that water is a universal solvent, means water can dissolve many things. But with the other than water, we have other solvents also which can dissolve many substances like petrol, kerosene, ethyl alcohol and acetone, and these things you will study in your higher classes also. So here we have considered solvent and solute. So students, that's it. I hope you all will understand this. Thank you.